Hey, great Saturday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville. It's nice and cool, and it's actually an awesome little day. And yes, Kanina, thank you so much. I appreciate you liking my boots. And for those that do not know, but I'm going to guess that 90% of Brownsville already knows. I got me some boots today. Yes. Buenas noches, me too. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Good evening, Joe. How's it going, my man? Saludos, Jesus Becky. Good to see you. Leah, buenas noches. Good evening. Say hi to Josh for me, Leah. And yeah, saludos desde el drive-through the Dairy Queen. Hey, bring me one of those dilly bars, please. Those things are awesome. I love them. Good evening, Victor, my man. Love you. Hello, Dianita Hermosa. Good evening. Oh, thank you for the booze. Saca las botas. Good evening, Claudita. And let's wait for everyone to start coming in. Good seed. Oh, it was good seeing today. Thank you for the amazing tasting turkey. Let me tell you, I got my fill today. I got a cookie. Oh, Claudia. Thank you, Claudia, for the boots. Thank you so much. I love them. I wore them, except I took the right foot one off when I was driving because I could not press the gas pedal without pressing the brake at the same time. But I love them. Love them, love them, love them. El ranchero chido con sus botas. Yes, ma'am. ¿Qué onda, botas? Do not nickname botas. It's okay. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Saludos, Josh. God bless, my man. What's up, everyone? Nice Moody Clinic, me, Benny. Love you, Benny. Un chiste. Maybe later on tonight we have time. Orly, I'm not running out of them, bro. Good evening to all you, Aurora. Buenas noches. Saludos. And guys, before we continue, I'm going to stop to say, hey, Jerry, how's it going? Guys, good evening. Anadelia, Louis. I'm going to skip some people, I'm sure. Saludos a mi suegro, Justin. I'm not going to fall for guys. Hey, Louis, how's it going? And good job. And my man. Oh, all the way. Hey, be careful in San Antonio, Mo. I got that warning today. San Antonio's not doing good. I'm going to go visit you out at Hinotama out there. God bless you, man. Primo, thank you, Primo. Appreciate you. And before we continue, we have with us today candidate for state senator Sara Stapleton Barrera. Sara, how you doing?
Hey guys, good. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It is always an honor, Sara. One of the things that I've told Sara, I said, Sara, you let us know. You have always an open door, open invitation because, we've been at this for a while. And Sara, every single time we go out there and message, Sara says, I'm there. Give me the time. I'll take it. And I go,
I'll take it. I need it. I love it. Yes.
You're doing an amazing job, Sara. And, of course, we have Frankie with us. Frankie, how you doing?
Oh, good evening, Erasmo. Hello, Sara. How's it going? Hello, world. It's been an eventful weekend. We got a lot to look forward to. Monday is the start of the runoff election, so it's important for our community to hear from the candidates themselves. So we appreciate Sara for taking the time out to answer some questions that the community may have. She is running for a large district, which entails Cameron, Willacy, and Hidalgo County. So we welcome all our friends from the different counties that will be here with us this evening. So once again, thank you, Sara, for taking a little bit out of your time to be here with us.
Lucy says, sorry, the protest couldn't say hi. You were walking across the street, so maybe next time I will say hi. Yes, very approachable. Hola, buenas noches. Wait, what it do? Oh, love the boots. Thank you, Emma. You got my vote. Sara, you got vote or both. Saludos desde Santa Maria. Santa Maria in the house. I love you, Santa Maria people. Good evening, everyone. Lynn, good evening. Looking forward to hear from Sara. Yes, and we're trying to get rid of all this other stuff. Awesome. And let's see. Un saludo, Erasmo. Saludo para mi colonia. I know what you're doing. Sara, great person, excellent human. Sara, please support our teachers. We're tired of the oppression. Yes. So we're going to go into public education in a little bit. I see Democrat. Con las botas nuevas. And let me tell you, Sara, one of the things that, good evening from Laguna Vista. I love me some Laguna Vista. Love you, Rosie. And one of the things that Sara, what will you do different from your opponent? Good. We're going to go into those questions. I think that's y'all. Again, one of the things, Sarah, that what we're dealing with right now, we talked about a little bit about, campaigning, how it's been different and everything else. Sarah, what is your take in regards to where we're at in regards to all these numbers coming out positive?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's a clear indicator that our leadership in the state failed us, right? I mean, look at even New York is looking down at us saying, hey, you guys didn't quite get it right. And, they were the first to blow up. So we're it's certainly problematic. Yes.
Well, we're going to go into Cindy's question off bat, and we'll start off with that. We'll move on forward. Sarah, what will you do different from your opponent?
Everything. Look, the problem with my opponent is that time and time again he votes with the Republicans, right? And he's put himself out there as a Democrat, but that's really not the positions that he's been taking, which is fine. Look, if you're a Republican, then run as a Republican, but you can't trick or dupe your constituents into thinking that you're going to vote one way or be a certain way and then act the opposite. I think he's been terrible on education. He's been terrible on voting in favor of discriminatory bills that hurt everybody down here. He put $800 million on the border to police the border. I mean, just time and time again, he's in my opinion, he's made huge, grave mistakes.
Sarah, since the COVID-19 pandemic started, we have noticed that not a lot of our representatives have been out, either being vocal or have had presence on social media. Is that something that you've seen from your opponent during these times?
Look, what he has done is he's done these, like chicken plate giveaways, right? But that doesn't solve the problem. What solves the problem is standing up to the governor and standing up to Dan Patrick and saying, hey, you haven't given us what we need down here. We were the last to get the drive-through testings. We were the last to get the PPE. We were the last to get all sorts of stuff that we needed first because we have such a high population of uninsured people down here and health issues down here, right? But no leaders, at least especially Senator Lucio, has not called out the governor. And that's what we need. We don't need chicken plates. We need someone to say, hey, give us the stuff that we need to survive.
Ted, I will be providing a list in regards to all the early voting locations. Will all the regular voting locations be open, even places like the libraries that are still closed? My answer is going to be yes. They will be open. And again, guys, one of the things that I want everyone to be assured with, it doesn't take the 3 to 4 minutes to go out there and vote. So, they're going to maintain social distancing out there. They're going county elections department. I've spoken with Remy, and they have assured us that they're going to be out there, wiping everything down, maintaining clean. So there's not going to be issue in that respect. The individuals that are going to be out there manning the different locations, they're going to be out there, being very, very cautious and being very, very diligent in regards to no cross contamination and nothing of the sort. But again, guys, ultimately the responsibility is a dual responsibility. The responsibility is ours to maintain ourselves safe, but never forget it's our responsibility to go out there and vote. So yes, I'm going to continue to ask people, don't be neglectful. Go out there and vote. It doesn't take you but a couple of minutes. It takes you longer to be at Walmart and at HEB to go buy stuff that you probably don't even need. It takes you like 20, 30, 45 minutes. So take 2 to 3 minutes out of your day and go vote, please, please, please. And Bella is asking if you might check your volume because it might be kind of low, Sarah. Sarah, how will you support special needs kids? We need a strong voice for our kids up in Austin, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. My sister's actually a special needs teacher. And so, she calls me on a regular basis and says, oh my gosh, we don't have this. We don't have this. It's all about the funding. But clearly they don't have what they need to reach their highest potential. And unfortunately, a lot of those special needs students, are pushed out the door and aren't given the skills that they need to go on and to succeed because lack of resources. It's about funding. It's about resources. So, she calls me on a... Oh, did you hear echo? Sorry, I hear echo on my end. Are we okay?
Yeah.
You're okay? Okay, sorry. I'm hearing myself. So yeah, it's about funding, and I get to hear those complaints from my sister who's in it each and every day. So yeah, I agree. It's a mess.
Good. Now let's see. AOBE, PSCA, NEA endorsed Sara Stapleton Barrera for Texas Senate, and this is actually the largest uh, teacher association, staff association here in the city of Brownsville. Now, someone's crumbling, crinkly, crinkly. And one of the things that's very important to our teacher associations is in regards to funding for for teachers and staff and students. Sarah at Austin as state senator, what will she do different in regards to public education than Senator Lucio?
Yeah, well, first of all, Senator Lucio votes in favor of vouchers, right? And all vouchers do is takes money out of the public school system and gives it to the charter schools. That's problematic. If we get rid of the voucher system, then we can pay our teachers. We can start their pay at $60,000 with the schedule increase for the more veteran teachers. That's what they need. I mean, the teachers keep on being promised an additional $5,000 or an additional stipend or whatever it may be, and they never see it. They never get it. So what do? We get rid of the vouchers, then we can actually pay our teachers, start them at 60K, and at least get them what they deserve.
Good. One of the things that is of concern, we talked about here constantly, and we'll go with the questions. There's going to be a lot of questions. So one of the things that we've been concerned is that no one actually in our community stood up to the governor. I mean, one of the things that I've stated on this program regularly, is that the more the pandemic grew here in Brownsville, in Cameron County, the less we heard from our elected officials in regards to the state senator, the state representatives. Our judge was out there having a press conference every other day. Mayor Mendez has been, at par fighting the system. But we heard nothing from our elected officials up in Austin, Texas. No one to stand up to the governor and say, wait a minute, what the heck are you doing? No one. Sarah, what would you have done differently if you had been a state senator for our area?
Yeah, well, I tried. So what I did, I mean, I'm not even an elected official, but what I did is I wrote a press release and I reached out to Senator Lucio and said, Senator, let's join efforts and let's write a letter and let's call Abbott and let's tell him what we need down here. Of course, Senator Lucio wanted nothing to do with that idea. So then I did a personal call out to Governor Abbott and said, hey, we need this, and this. We don't have it. Where is it? So that's what we need our leaders to be doing. Coming from someone that's not an elected official yet, it's hard to get anyone to really jump. But yeah, Senator Lucio can't call them out because Abbott and Dan Patrick are his compadres. So what's he gonna do? He can't talk bad about these guys that put money in his treasure in his chest.
Good.
Recently, Sarah, we heard the governor, openly say that he made a mistake in reopening the economy. What would you have done differently in regards to the COVID-19 crisis and the governor opening up the economy? In my opinion, too early.
Yeah, he did open it too early, and he's realizing it. But this is going to be the next problem: is that they're reopening the schools too early, and then we're going to realize it again. He should have just waited. I mean, I get it. He was feeling pressure because of the businesses. But what do? You don't reopen. You help the small businesses. You give them loans. You help them monetarily, but you don't just say, okay, we're going to reopen because I'm panicking about, about my voters not liking me anymore at the detriment of their health. It is crazy. Now we're backtracking because he made a huge mistake.
Just to clarify, what the governor pulled back on or recanted was his decision to open up the bars. It wasn't necessarily. I mean, I don't think he had said anything in regards to the economy. Which again, I think that's one of the issues that we have discussed. Our economy, our small business needs to go out there. I think what he pulled back on was opening the bars, which I agree. I mean, we're seeing the big old wave. Jose Colón Valles makes a very important statement. Curbside voting is also available, and a lot of individuals were asking, like, is that something new? Was that something new? Is that no? We've always had curbside voting. now, because of the situation that a lot of individuals are in, you're going to be able to benefit from curbside voting. So it's a great, great thing. Now, Sarah,
And I
yo,
talked to Remy about the curbside voting, and it's going to be at all the Cameron County locations.
yes, good job. Our high numbers due to all the increase in testing. Seems like we're the last ones to get huge amounts of testing.
Are high numbers due to all the increase in testing? I mean, that's the argument, right? Like, you're going to get more positives if you have more testing, but it doesn't matter. I mean, that it's sort of like a moot issue, right? If 200 people are getting it a day, 200 people are getting it a day. But we can't blame the testing for our high numbers. We got to continue the testing and continue the treatments.
And that answers me two's question. Sarah, one of the things that again, going back into the closing of of business, and that one of the things that was very prevalent throughout the country was closing down our churches. Now,
Right.
this became very important for a lot of individuals out there, especially individuals like myself who actually do preach in church. What is your take in regards to closing down the churches?
I think they've got to close. I mean, look, we can still hold services like we are right now. You've heard about the drive-in services, but we can't risk people's health and their lives, even for church. We can still pray. We can still, worship our God, but we've got to be able to do it safely.
Now, a lot of us individuals that believe in worship, I think Senator Lucio was very adamant in regards to not wanting to close down our churches out there. For a lot of us, it was very, very important, to maintain and to have them open. Um, Sarah, what are your takes in regards to spirituality?
Say it again.
What is your stance in regards to spirituality?
Look, I think it's great. I think, spirituality is a different thing to everybody. It's a very individual feeling, a very individual thing to an individual. So it means, a whole different array of things. But what I can say is that, if you're going to be a state leader, you cannot impose your faith upon all of your constituents. You've got to be able to represent everybody, whether they be Muslim or Catholic or Christian or whatever they are. You cannot impose your beliefs upon others.
One of the things that Senator Lucio, he seems to be very, very close to his religious beliefs, and I'll say this in regards to women's rights. In regards to freedom of choice, and women's rights. What do you feel about Senator Lucio using his beliefs as a practicing, I would say, maybe Catholic, and his stance on things like abortion?
I think he's using his religion as a weapon. All right. What he's doing is he's not separating church and state, which he is supposed to do in this position, but he's saying, this is my belief, so you have to abide by my beliefs. And that's not the way that it's supposed to work. Look, I get it. Not everybody is in favor of abortion and they have their beliefs. And I think that's great. Everybody can have their individual beliefs, but we can't force somebody to believe what we believe. We've got to let people have their own minds and let them make their own decisions.
In that same regard, Sarah, please talk to us about the difference between you and Senator Lucio in regard to the LGBT community and what's your stance on that issue?
Yeah, I mean, he's thrown the LGBTQ plus community under the bus time and time again. He's voted in favor of probably every discriminatory bill. He's not in favor of gay marriage. He voted in favor of the bathroom bill. He time and time again is cutting down this community, and frankly, it disgusts me and it sickens me, and we deserve better.
What would you do? What would you do if elected to the District 27 as senator? How would your stance change from his?
Yeah. So what we do is we pump up the rights. We give them more rights. At the U.S. level, just in Brownsville, we have this new LGBTQ task force, right? And there is the LGBTQ task force in the United States, but Texas doesn't have one. We need one. We need to have a task force so we can really defend and support this community, ensure that their rights aren't taken away, and make them equal. I mean, we're in 2020 and they don't have equal rights to heterosexuals. It's insanity.
How will you support our school districts? Right now, a lot of our teachers have the feeling that it's too dangerous for them to go back onto campus. What's your take on it?
It is. It is. Yeah, I think that probably the smartest thing is to stay virtual during the fall, reevaluate, and kind of see what the spring looks like. I get it. Like as a parent and is someone that is a working person, it's not easy. I mean, staying at home with 3 kids is insanity. But we've got to take people's health and make that our number one priority.
What's your message, Sarah, to the veterans out, the veteran community? What would you try to bring to the table if elected to this position?
The veterans desperately need a hospital in South Texas. I mean, they have to go drive, miles and miles and miles away to get care, and that's number one. We have to ensure the Hazelwood Act that helps with funding of college stays intact. Look, Senator Lucio is really good at passing out awards at veterans events, right? But if you look at his record, he really hasn't done a whole lot. But the appearances is he has, because he's good at handing out awards. But pull up his record. I mean, what have you done for us lately, Senator?
When are we going back to school for BSC? We're going back on August the 11th, Jorge, just to answer your question. Now, Sarah, one of the things that I was a little bit upset with Senator Lucio was back when this pandemic started, he had a virtual town hall meeting with, the superintendent of here in Brownsville, and also called the Penguin Minerva, Penguin out there. Now, it was a farce of a town hall meeting. I don't even know why they called it a town hall meeting when they took absolutely no questions that were of any value to anyone out there. Anyone out there. So, again, what type of communication? How are you going to constantly be communicating with our people out here? Are you going to get elected, become state senator, and then we'll never see you on the show? You'll never pick up our phone call. We're going to have to wait till next time you run in order to see you, because that's what we are experiencing with a lot of our elected officials now.
You're right. That's what we've experienced. Look, this is the thing, and I've said it time and time again, but I give everybody my cell phone number. You can call me, you can text me, you can show up in my office, and the other thing is I'm not afraid to answer questions. These shows that we do here are never scripted. I never know what you're going to talk to me about, but I'm confident enough to be like, hey, look, I'm going to be transparent and open and honest. If I don't know, I'm going to say, well, I don't know. So yes, I will certainly be on your show as much as you'll let me when I'm your state senator.
Teachers, we need your support. And just new teachers are getting paid more than veteran teachers like myself. One of the things that just recently passed through the school district was the compensation plan for a pay raise for teachers, which they felt was minimal, if anything at all. We calculated down to $35 a week for teachers. I mean, that's just madness. I mean, I spent more than $35 a week on popcorn, and it's good popcorn, but goodness gracious. Now, one of the concerns in regards to teachers' payout out there is that there's no clarity in regards to our state leadership holding school districts accountable to actually answer to the teachers. What can we do differently up at the state level?
So this is what needs to happen. There needs to be a bill that is written that starts our new teachers at $60,000, and then keeps a schedule for the teachers that have been there longer. 60 should be the starting point, and then for veteran teachers like this woman here should be paid for her years that she's been there, clearly. And so it's just a matter of somebody getting in there saying, hey, look, this is what we deserve. I'm not going to take no's and answer, and fighting for it, as opposed to someone that'll just roll over on their belly and say, well, that's too hard.
Sarah, we have seen and we have heard from teachers who have been, upset at Senator Lucio recently for fighting for charter and private schools. What's your message to teachers, working for the public schools? Would you fight for everybody as a whole? Would you focus on charter schools?
Look, this is how I feel about charter schools. Charter schools are corporations. So a charter school is like a Walmart, right? If a charter school wants to exist, fine. But our tax dollars should not pay for it. Our tax dollars need to go only to the public school system. And if a charter school wants to exist, let them be a Walmart, let them figure out their own funding and exist as a corporation does. But no, zero state dollars should go to charter schools.
All right, Sarah, let me see. Have you ever run a business? Can you go months without work and a lousy $1,200 to survive?
I have run a business, and there's no way you can survive off of $1,200. There's no way. No, it's insanity, and it's like a slap in the face, basically trying to appease us. But we're better and we're smarter than that. So no, you're right.
It's true. Good evening, guys, and good evening, Miss Stapleton. I'm trying to find. Joe had a question here. I'm trying to find, guys. I apologize. It's just a lot of questions. Here it is. Question for Sarah. With the huge gap in the skilled workforce across the United States in Senate Bill 5, reading heavy in career and technical education, what is your stance in keeping proper funding for CTE regardless of the inevitable budget cuts?
I don't know if I got that full question. You're asking how I feel about the funding towards technical jobs, technical training?
Yes. With a huge gap in the skilled workforce across the USA and Texas, Senate Bill 5, reading heavy in career and technical education, CTE programs, what is your stance in keeping proper funding for CTE regardless of the inevitable budget cuts?
Yeah. Okay. So I think the three most important thing here in the Valley, and it's going to be huge with this next legislative session because of COVID, are clearly jobs, education, and healthcare. Those are the three areas where our funding needs to really be focused on, including these technical jobs. Yeah.
We Sarah, down here we are the lowest, the poorest area in our nation. For lack of resources and for lack of jobs, what would you say to the people of Cameron County, Hidalgo, and Willacy that you would do to implement either more technical schools or creating jobs in our area?
Yeah. So our South Texas area is flush with beautiful land, right? We can have this whole new green job energy growth that provides reliable jobs, good paying jobs that are actually good for the environment. And a lot of this industry, this green job industry, is like shovel to dirt ready. We can train people quick, we can get people working, get people moving, and create a better environment for us down here. Look, we're the poorest. We have 38% uninsured down here. Senator Lucio's been our senator for 30 years. He's the one that got us in this mess. And to think that he's going to be the one that gets us out of it is crazy.
Sarah, have you ever listed yourself as pro-life or have you ever been pro-life?
I have not.
Good. What would you say to all the individuals out there? We do live in a Hispanic community where a lot of the values of a lot of the individuals here is pro-life. What would you say to a great number of individuals who believe, are anti-abortion?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the term pro-life really isn't fair, right? If we're talking about life, obviously we all want everybody to have a better life, but that means we got to take care of the children at the border. That means we got to take care of our elderly. That means we got to take care of our inmates. I mean, what I would say to somebody that does not believe in abortion is this: that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's your belief. I get it, and I understand where you're coming from. But we've got to trust women to make their own choices, and that's really it. I'm not saying, hey, you have to believe in abortion, or hey, you have to think that this is the way it should go. But we do have to trust women, and we do have to trust them and their families making the right decision for them and their families. We can't strip them of that right.
Are you concerned that Eddie Lucio Jr. didn't speak out about corruption?
am I concerned that Eddie didn't speak out about corruption? Yes, I am. And I think that he's part of the evil corruption machine. I think he's made millions of dollars off of his position. And I think that he takes money from lobbyists, and I think that he takes consultant fees, and I think that he does all sorts of corrupt stuff. So that's probably why he doesn't speak out about it.
You have previously stated, Sarah, that you believe in term limits, if I'm not mistaken. What would you do to implement and guarantee the citizens of Cameron County that you would enforce this after your term is up?
Yeah, so I pledged with this group called U.S. Term Limits, and basically what the pledge is for my position. I would limit it to 3 terms. I don't think anybody should be in there more than 3 terms, including myself. I don't think anybody, I think the longer you stay in office, the more inclined you are to be complacent, the more inclined you are to, stop caring as much and just, get lazy. So yeah, when I win this thing, I will cut myself off after 3 terms, because not even I should be there that long.
Elizabeth has 2 questions that I've seen so far. The first was, what is your stance in regards to legalization of marijuana? And would you pass anything related to polygamous relationships to be legal?
Okay, let me start with the marijuana. So we have an opioid crisis in the country, right? People are dying day after day hooked on opioids. And I am a huge skeptic of Big Pharma. I think they push medicines down our throats, get people hooked, people die, they have kidney failures and all sorts of stuff. So yes, if marijuana is the thing that keeps people healthy, keeps people dealing with their ailments, and and if we can make an industry out of it and make Texas flush, then sure.
And
go ahead.
That's fine. Okay, go ahead. I was eating popcorn. I eat popcorn every week from Levi and Kai. Popcorn there at the food court. Let me tell you guys, that's some amazing popcorn. And I am very, very addicted to popcorn. Yes, our veterans need better care. They do. Sarah made mention in regards to veterans. And let me go in here real quick. There. And let's see. So when is school going to start? August the 11th. It'll start August the 11th. Stop categorizing politicians that believes they campaign for what they stand for. People need to do their own research on all candidates, 100%. And one of the comments that Felicia made up there, again, I truly believe it. Vote platform. Please vote platform. Hi there, hi to everyone. Ara Castro. Let's see. We need a hospital in Old Grande Valley. Yes, Sarah mentioned her stance in regards to supporting our hospital. All the way from Knoxville. Missing you, my man. Eddie was in Kingsville this week feeding 300 first responders. And that seems one of the things that a lot of these individuals, they tend to do, is give out all these free food. And again, I mean, if you have millions and millions of dollars that you've collected throughout the years, go for it. More power to you. But again, is that going to guarantee? Is that going to guarantee us that? Hola, Juan. Is that going to guarantee us that they're actually going to be working out for us when it's not election time? I do not know. Do not think so. 228 Texas Monthly placed on Lucio on the furniture rooster for his lack of action. I'm not sure what that is, but first of all, very true about the town hall meeting. Out of the thousands of questions, they only chose 4 questions. What was that about? And the 4 questions were softball questions. We wanted to know a little bit of more stuff that was more important. What's that clicking noise? That's I think it's coming from Sarah, but I made sure I muted it while we're talking. But that's okay. 50,000. Good job. And Erasmo for president. Preach. I agree with that. Big shout out to Deborah. Congratulations. We need a veterans hospital for right-granted veterans. 100% audio. Audio is awful. Again, we're trying to get that better up there. Bad audio. Yes, Sarah, bad audio. But again, Sarah doesn't have millions of dollars to spend on audio like Erasmo Castro does. That's okay. Sounds horrible. Sorry. How are porn stars getting tested? Actually, that's a very, very good question. I'm hoping that they're getting tested very carefully. It's very, very important that they do. Everyone out there should get tested, especially individuals that have that close contact with you have a mice in your mic or something. When are school nurses going to be required by law in schools? This is 2020. Again, I think that's an amazing question. And again, I agree with it 100%. We do need to have nurses at our schools because of our kids being in need of having a medical professional there. But with that said, our nurses that are working at our schools now, they do an amazing job. Amazing job. As a candidate, Good. As a candidate, what plans do you have to help teachers raise their pay and protect their health during this time of the pandemic?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm proposing the $60,000 raise starting pay for the teachers. I think right now it's premature to try to get teachers and students back in school in the fall. I think that'll cause a huge health concern and a huge spike. So I think we got to keep it digital and kind of reevaluate till things kind of settle down a little bit.
After 8 years, I wish it was 60,000 high. Yeah, I'm more like under 40. You know what, Primo? That is pathetic for our teachers, Sarah. After so many years, to be at 43K is crazy. 60,000 starting sounds great. Is that the state's call or the district's call? I would glad to say that it is the district's call, but again, our district has failed us, failed us in regards to meeting the needs of our teachers. I think part of the problem is that our teachers just think that they have no one to talk to. They have no one to listen to them, and that's look. And I'll say this: that's one of the reasons why that's one of the reasons why I'm very successful at what I do, because I listen to my people, and I hear their complaints and I hear their concerns, and I yell and I scream and I make noise here and there, and I get people's attention. And I think that's what people want. They want someone that listens to them. And for way too long, our superintendent is definitely not listening to my people. This stupid, corrupt board is not listening to my people. As of recent, now that the county judge isn't listening to our people either. He goes up and does press conferences, but that doesn't serve us very much if we can't have open communication with our elected officials. 98 positives, 56 from Brownsville just today. It is horrible. Thank you, Anita. And we did get the numbers. I just don't want to share them while we're going through the Thursday. Well, that's what happens when elected officials is in office too long. And again, one of the things that Sarah Bain mentioned, and I agree with, we've got to start having term limits. We don't need them only at the state level. We need them at every level, all the way down to school boards. We have to have term limits. They've got to go. People complain that they wanted the bars and beaches open again, as well as there are places where a large number of people can gather and fail to follow rules. None of these are consequential. Whose tax dollars? Well, I will say one of my, and I'll let you answer this. One of my concerns with one of the things that Senator Lucio tried to implement was that he wanted to make one big old school district by bringing them all together like a county-wide school. I mean, what's your take on that? And can you give us more information on it?
Yeah, I mean, people panicked. I remember at the time I had a lot of teacher friends, and they were panicking, and parents couldn't believe that he was actually considering doing it, to the detriment of the teachers and the detriment of the students. Look, he's out of touch. Clearly, he's not like you and I, like people that talk to people. He's out of touch with what people want and what people need. We need somebody that, like you said, will listen and is in the middle of those issues.
Very good. ¿Van a mandar el chequezón para las loading kits para las trocas o no? I will say that the Senate is already saying that they are going to want to try and work. This is the by the federal government, that they are in favor of sending out another check. So I'm good. The Senate is basically held by the Republicans. So that sounds pretty good. Now they've got to get together with the Democrats and decide how much money we're going to get. But they're saying July. I'm going to say August and September. That's my calculated date. But if it's sooner, more power to her. Erasmo, recomienda las pastillas? No. Heck, if teachers get a raise, give a raise to the whole community. Well, there's a difference between what the whole community does. But with that said, Benjamin, I'm not speaking for Sarah, but with that said, we need economic development in our area. I mean, look at how horrible it is here for individuals. And I'll go back. And guys, and one of the, let me know when you're ready to answer, and I'll pick you back on, Sarah. Let me tell you, one of the things that's very horrible is that a lot of the individuals out here, look at guys, individuals have to work 2-3 jobs in order to make the amount of money that someone working up north of us can do with one job or half a job. So we have no economic development. I mean, they pay people here crap. And I mean, we've got all the resources in the world. So goodness gracious, it's up to our local elected officials to stop stealing our money and to stop reinvesting in our community so that we can have great things. We have all the resources anyone could ever want. We've got a port, we've got beaches, we've got zoos, we've got bridges, we've got history, we've got Erasmo Castro. What more can you want? It's amazing. But Sarah, how are we going to help economic development here?
Look, I think we've got to raise the minimum wage. That's step one. And people, the argument against it is, well, how are we going to pay our employees? But look, if people have more money in their pocket, they're going to go out and spend it. We raise minimum wage. Other states are doing it. They're flourishing. They're doing great. Like you said, we are the poorest of the poor down here in South Texas. So clearly what we have done thus far is not working. So let's shake it up and do something new.
What do you take on people on SSI? I love my people on SSI. And again, they should get another check, hopefully in July, August, September as well. Does anyone know if SpaceX bought the Stargate building from UPRGV? I'm not sure, but it would be a good idea. I mean, we need to make money somehow. Knowing
Sarah, in regards to your opponent, he recently ranked at the bottom of regarding issues on environmental issues. We have LNG in our backyard. What would you do, or what's your message to Cameron County in regards to LNG? What would you do differently from the senator?
Yeah, so he wrote a letter praising LNG. I'm against LNG. It's not going to bring all these jobs that they promise. All it's going to do is wreck our tourism, wreck our beaches, and make life a living hell down here for us. So no, what do? We bring green jobs, green energy, and that's the way we solve the problem. But we certainly don't, turn our beach here into, the Galveston pipes that you see and the smoke coming everywhere. I mean, that's a nightmare. Who wants that?
no pro-life doesn't have my vote. Not pro-life. Again, one of the things that is very important, Felicia, is that individuals, you need to make sure that we look at the candidate as a whole. But again, I tend to be pro-life myself. But again, I don't look down on other individuals that opt to be pro-choice in no way, shape, or form. I mean, I can respect a lot of different in regards to opinion, but I understand what you're saying, and that's your vote is you're right. Pro-life, as in new conception babies, that's what was meant for. See, that's a very, very difficult question. And I'll ask the question, Sarah. What about late-term abortions, or what about abortions right close to birth?
Yeah, so those actually don't really happen the way that people think they do. When a mother is sick, or a mother is, could die, or the baby could die, then a woman and a doctor make that decision. But these horror stories that you see about, people having these late term abortions and the baby almost being born is hogwash. That doesn't happen. It's like, when Trump tries to scare us all by telling us ugly things that aren't true. It's like that.
So killing is a right? No, it's not a right. It's horrible. Anyone out there killing, again? Look at what happened in Minnesota. I think everyone, Republicans, Democrats, everyone, in regards to what happened to George Floyd, immediately said and condemned the actions of the police officer. With that said, Sarah, there's a big movement throughout the country in regards to defunding the police. What is your stance on defunding the police?
Yeah, so I stand aligned with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think that clearly there's a huge criminal justice issue. We need an entire reformation, not just little policy changes. We need an entire switch to this system that was really embedded upon slavery, embedded upon white supremacy, and we've got to fix things because clearly the system is broken, right? And the funding of the police need more citizen oversight.
Well, one of the things that we have here I think, in regards to Brownsville, Texas, and I will say, I think the majority of the people here in Brownsville are very supportive of the law enforcement. In regards to the protests that we recently had, in regards to the removal of the rock, one of the things I think that bothered a lot of people here in the city of Brownsville was it wasn't so much people here from Brownsville that were complaining about the rock. It was people that were coming from away from Brownsville. One of the main instigators was this guy Castillo, who actually doesn't even live here anymore. He's living up there in Timbuktu. So, and once the city caved in, because they caved in to remove the rock. Once that happened, then they started to want to remove the name of Robert E. Lee Youth Center, and then they want to change the names of the mascots to from our schools. They want to name the Pace Vikings Pay Koalas, and people didn't like that too much. Trust me, I know. And but my concern is, one, if the majority of the people here in the city of Brownsville, in your district, are supportive of law enforcement, are not supportive of these individuals coming down and dictating what should be taken away, what should not be away. Is Sarah going to represent the wave of what's going on in the nation, or going to represent the wants and the needs of the majority of the people in the district that she's going to represent?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, look, what a leader of a district is supposed to do is reach out to the constituents, figure out what they want, and then be that leader, right? So it's a matter of sitting down with the citizens and having these conversations and hashing things out. Now, regarding the PD, you know, it's not a matter of being, if people being against the police or with the police or whatever. It's this is what needs to happen. We just need to work together. If citizens and PDs can come together and work as a unit and really start to understand each other, then we can build this relationship. People won't be afraid, and as a community, I think it will thrive and be in a much better position.
Sarah,
Lucy,
one thing Senator Lucio has been campaigning on is seniority, experience. Entering this new year that he has experienced, during legislative sessions. What's your message to the voters in regards to this? Do we need somebody who's been there for 30 years, or is it time for a fresh ideas, a fresh voice?
Yeah, look, he's this seniority. He's been there for 30 years, but look at us. We're still the poorest country. We're still uninsured. We still don't have jobs. We're still 20 years behind everybody else. So that's what his seniority has given us is stagnancy. We haven't progressed. We haven't moved forward. I can offer this new generation with fresh ideas, with modern solutions to modern problems. That's what we need.
well, in regards to one of the things that happened here recently in the city of Brownsville, we did have, talking about the LGBT. Well, let me go to Lucy's question first before I lose it. Texas will not get monies from rainy day fund to pay for teacher increase. So where will the monies come from? Lucy, the money has to come from the district. And let me tell you, we here at the district, we have a general fund of over $200 million set aside, put away. Plus, take into consideration, there was a lot of money that was saved throughout these past couple of months where there were limited resources that were actually used in regards to the teaching process. The district has money. As of last quarter, they had more than $215 million put away in the general fund. They need to start to use it on our prime resource at the district, which is our staff that takes care of our students. So yes, we have to, and I'll say this again, maybe a little bit self-serving. We've got to get rid of all these idiots on the damn board. I'll get rid of every single one of them. Do not give them your vote. And if you know someone that's going to give them your vote, dale un pambazo en la cabeza. But with that said, I wanted to get that out of the way. Sarah, there's a big old movement going on in regards to being politically correct. One of the things that transpired and happened this past Friday, which a lot of the individuals in the city of Brownsville, as that they actually had a petition against, was the reading of uh, Queen Beatrix, which is an individual from the LGBTQ community, actually one of the main activists here in the city of Brownsville, that was going to be reading at our public library. Again, the general sentiment of a lot of individuals in the city of Brownsville was, do not do that with public funds. But it is the wave that's going out in the nation. Again, are we going to start to follow the wave of what's happening out there instead of following what is happening, or the wants and the desires of the people here in Cameron County?
Look, I'm born and raised in Brownsville, right? So I'm part of this this generation and this community that's been here forever. But why can't we just open our minds to the possibility that, look, if we try to expand our horizons and try to experience new things, then maybe we'll all be a little bit better, and maybe we'll all, gain some knowledge from it. Look, we need to be more inclusive and love the people around us as opposed to being exclusive and scared. Let's be bold. Let's be brave and courageous.
Sarah, would you oppose further expansions of immigration detention centers that are being operated by government and private companies in your district?
Yes, I am hugely against the private prison industry, which, by the way, Senator Lucio has made hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s off of. He's got
Wow.
a dollar sign on every inmate's head, and every immigrant's head, and I think it's immoral and wrong.
If you are for those rights, you should pass bills that allow for multiple marriages. That is why I can marry a doctor, plumber, maid, chef, electrician, and carpenter. It's only fair. Or Elizabeth, you could marry me, and I'm all those things in just one, right? How would you address or look out for the youth with mental health issues?
Yeah, one of my positions on mental health issues is I feel like so many of our youth down here are overly diagnosed and pumped with medications that they don't need at 2 years old, 3 years old. I think we need to take a more holistic approach, right? We need to get our kids outside. We need to get our kids active. We need to get our kids eating healthy. I think a lot of that stuff affects their mental health. So that's where we start.
Are we going to be able to play sports this year? Rogelio, my answer is no. It's going to be impossible, bro. I mean, the only sports that I have see that might be viable are tennis and golf that isn't a sport. Maybe baseball and softball. Maybe because there's not that close contact. But in regards to football and basketball and even volleyball, I'm going to say absolutely not. And again, I'm just being realistic. That's my opinion. Again, that is why my concern was keep on doing online classes all the way till January. And then let's start planning to maybe open up sometime in January. But starting football season in August, no, bitch it up. I don't think it's going to happen. Sarah, do you have a take on it?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. We just saw at the national level they opened up tennis, and then there was a major outbreak in the tennis players. So even tennis may be a little hard to do. I don't know.
Oh, tennis is good. I mean, you don't have to come to contact with anyone except the ball, but that's just me. And then again, I play tennis very differently. I play tennis like a 50-year-old guy, even though I'm 30. Well, what would you do to bring more manufacturing companies to Brownsville? We have a port, airport infrastructure. More needs to be done. Higher paying jobs.
Yeah, I agree. We need to utilize. I mean, if I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. We've got to utilize our area down here for bringing in more green jobs, more green energy, reliable, high-paying jobs that people can get started with right away.
Hola, hermosa Martita, ¿cómo estás? 600 million. That's our budget, annual budget. Yes. Not the one from Jardín Elementary. The nurse is so rude and very mean. I don't understand how she works with children. I had made a complaint about her. All they said was that she was there while the school got a nurse. While what Major said, I'm sorry that happened to you. As soon as school starts, Victoria, I will look into it. I promise. $400,000 for superintendent is ridiculous. The president of the United States salary is $400,000. I think porque esa va a ganar. No, Erasmo, no has gritado. Dixie, sorry! I love you! Isn't Ruben Obel employed by Eddie Lucio? Eddie Obel is employed by Eddie Lucio III, not Eddie Lucio Jr. He is the chief of staff. They are afraid of losing their jobs. Well, I think everyone's afraid of losing their job. Cindy, that money is completely ridiculous. How do they make that happen? Again, when you have someone in your pocket, you can make them do anything you want. Eddie Lucio sits on those meetings. Which meetings? I'm not sure, Cindy. Explain. Sarah, what was your thoughts on the petition against the Brownsville Public? Pride story time.
The petition against the story time. Yeah, look, I didn't like it. Like I said, I like to be inclusive as opposed to exclusive, and I think that we should not govern our thoughts based on fear or, of the unknown. Let's open our minds and maybe we'll learn something, right?
But you're there to represent the community, and the community,
right.
The majority of community is against it. So will you be against it as well, or will you want to educate the community to think or do something different?
Yeah, I think we sit down and we educate. Look, I don't like anything that leaves a group of people out. I think that's unfair. I think that's unkind. I think that we need to start having these hard conversations.
Why?
Why? Look, if we don't have these hard conversations, then we'll never grow and we'll never move forward. We'll always be stuck behind. In order to move forward, we have to have uncomfortable conversations. We have to have a leader that'll sit, that'll talk, that'll be honest, and that'll hash things out.
What is your preference, state sales tax or income tax for raising revenue?
Yeah, state sales tax will never happen here in Texas, as far as I know.
So, any plans on raising revenue for the state at the state level?
Look, this is the thing, is that if we're going to raise taxes, we raise taxes from the end, from the top, from that percent at the very top. We don't raise taxes among the minimum wage or the working class, or the poverty level. If we raise taxes, we raise it on the millionaires and the billionaires and the oil tycoons that thrive in this state, and that's where we raise our taxes. If we want more programs, that's where we get the funding.
Do you
What
support free healthcare for the undocumented aliens?
Do I support free healthcare to undocumented aliens? Look, a human is a human is a human, right? If I have a child that does not have papers, that is in my arms, and we're saying, what are we going to do with this child? Let him die or get him healthcare? We get him healthcare. We don't let anybody die on our dollar.
I think the question is more towards adult individuals that are here illegally. Should they get free healthcare from the government or from the state?
I think there needs to be a major immigration reform, right? Clearly, the way that we have it working right now is not working. And people are coming here illegally because it's nearly impossible to get here legally. So we've got to pave a way to make it easier for people to get here legally, easier for people to start working, and then it'll solve some of that issues.
Frankie?
What do you have to say in regards to your opponent's voting record within this past 30 years?
What do I think the people are going to say about his voting record?
Correct.
I think if they look at it, they'll be as shocked and concerned as I was. When I first read it, I was out of my mind and couldn't believe that time and time again he votes along with this very right, radical Republican agenda. I thought he was a Democrat, but once I started looking into it, I realized that he indeed was not.
Starting pay $60,000. There are those teachers that have been with the district 15 years and earning $56,000. So a new teacher would be earning more than a person that has been there for more years.
No. So we would start the new teachers at $60,000 and then have a schedule for the teachers that have been there longer. So everybody gets a bump up. No, obviously the teachers that have been there longer have more seniority, and they need to get paid according to the years they've been there.
Well, if we're looking at teachers who has been here for 20 years or 15 years, they're earning $56,000. We're looking at exponential, huge amount of money that's going to have to go into making those raises. Where are we going to get all that money?
Look, Senator Lucio not too long ago put $800 million to police the border, right? There's some money right there. There is a rainy day fund with $10.5 billion in there. We have the money. We're just not allocating it. And we say, oh, well, our teachers and our children are our number one priority. Clearly they're not, because we have money. It's just not being funneled in that direction.
Would you ever consider making the PUF part of public education?
I'm sorry, making the what?
Making the PUF.
Making the PUF part?
The money that is set aside from oil revenue that goes to our universities. Would you ever be in favor of using some of that money to go to public education?
Yeah, look, I think that's our number one concern, right? So we find the money and we put it where it belongs. Yes.
How is it possible, Samito, being such a small district, to get their teachers get paid more? Again, they have an amazing HR person, and they have actually board members that don't steal as much as the board members from Brownsville, Texas. I don't think last time I looked, I don't think any of their board members were, facing federal indictments for stealing from our children and from our stealing. Boxers or briefs? I do boxer briefs.
For me?
For sure.
Briefs.
Man, are you cracking? Nah, no. The school system is a mafia. The one here in Brownsville is very, very bad. I love my school district in San Benito. I think they run a very nice show. The one in Harlingen is so. I don't like that. A lot of it's very mafia-istic in regards to the hush hush, almost as bad as Brownsville. I like my Los Fresnos people because at least I can pick up the phone and ask some questions out there. But yeah, there's some that are boxer brief. Too much information from Mirani. 98 additional cases, 1 additional death, 83-year-old female from Los Fresnos. It's very unfortunate, very sad. Our prayers out to the family. Please answer, Claudia. Where is Claudia Gonzalez's question? Patricia, where is Claudia Gonzalez's question?
I could read it, Erasmo, if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
Claudia Gonzalez's question is, getting teachers a fair pay is needed, but then what can you do to make sure districts don't keep the monies that were meant for teachers? This is what happened to us last year. You were part of the board when it happened last summer, Erasmo.
Yeah, I'll answer that. I'll answer that question. First of all, let me tell you, when teachers were told that we're very excited, Claudia. Oh, we're very excited. We're going to get $5,000. I was the only board member to come out and speak and say, you are not going to get $5,000. I told you it was a stunt. And this came from the Senate. From the Senate. And I said, it is a stunt, guys. And people were saying to me, Claudia, oh, no, Erasmo, you're being negative. I said, no, guys, I was the only individual because, like it or not, guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what happened. And when they first came out, they're going to give teachers $5,000. And teachers came up to me and said, Erasmo, did you hear the wonderful news? The Texas State Senate is going to give us $5,000. And I said, you believe that? You believe that? And I said, it's not going to happen. And guess what? I was right. Now, Claudia, do y'all? Part of the problem with the teachers, and Claudia, and I don't know if you're one of those. And I can't see your message. You might have me blocked, or I might have you blocked. And if that's the case, send me an inbox, and I'll unblock you. Because I appreciate your question. But I was out there, Claudia and Patricia. I was out there, and I told people, do not believe them. They're politicians. Do you know when politicians are lying? Every single time they open their damn mouth. So I said, it's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. And guess what? It didn't happen. So again, if there are any other concerns in regards to it, yeah, I'll stand by my record. With that said, take into consideration, guys, Sylvia controlled the majority of the board always. And Claudia, it's a lot of individuals out there in the district that are now complaining that voted for her, voted for Prissy, voted for Drew, voted for flip-flopping Philip, and voted for La Stúpida La Minerva. If that's the kind of leadership that y'all want to bring back, God bless y'all guys, but you continue to screw yourselves over. Do you want board members that will lie to you like they did right now recently? They tried to pull some fast ones on there. We're out here trying to shed light into it because we have a little bit of knowledge on it. So yes, I'll answer the question and bring me more questions, please. But I warned the teachers, the $5,000 was not going to happen because the $5,000 that supposedly they were going to pass was then going to be cut and distributed and used for other things. And once the district got it, then only a percentage of it went back to the teachers. And I told teachers, I told you so. I told you so. I mean, I've not lied about it ever. And I will never lie. Like it or not, I will always tell you the truth. I don't hide anything. And if other questions come from Claudia, let me know, Frankie, because again, I can't see it. I might have her blocked. She might have me blocked. And again, Claudia, if you want to be unblocked so I can actually see your questions, just let Frankie know, send Frankie a message, and I will gladly unblock you. Sarah, do you have any take on the $5,000 that was promised by the Senate?
Yeah, look, I researched that bill, and the bill is written so poorly. And this is what the politicians did. They said we're giving $6.5 billion to the schools, so we're great and wonderful, whatever. But the way the bill was written is it was conditioned upon whether they wanted to give it or not. So it was a trick. It was smoke and mirrors. So the politicians, our state senator, could say, "Oh, I'm actually really great," but it didn't do what it was purported to do.
That is my answer, and that's exactly. And Sarah's completely right. That is exactly what happened. And all you have to do, guys, research, guys. For goodness gracious, man. I mean, y'all don't study the candidates. Y'all believe their same crap over and over and over again. And you know what? Some of these people that are asking these questions, like, "Oh, Erasmo, but you were there." Some of these people are going to go out there and vote for Minerva, go for Laura, go vote for Flip Flopping Philip, go vote for Little Eddie. And Little Eddie, let me tell you something, bro. If you ever want to call me a hypocrite, a backstabber, whatever you want to call me, you call me out there, call me out. Say my name, Little Eddie, because Erasmo Castro has no problem in calling you out and your stupidity and you putting your money, all your hands already in vendors' money. That's what screws our school district over. Because people like you think it's okay to take vendors' money and then go put it into your compadre's little pockets and then try to get elected on vendors' money. And guess what? Then we're going to have to pay the vendors back. We have to pay them back. So Eddie, keep your dirty, grubby little midget hands out of the pockets of vendors. Sarah, what do you think about taking money from vendors? Your opponent has millions of dollars.
Yeah, look, if our leaders are taking money and these underhanded and these cutting these deals, they're not going to represent the public's best interests. They're obviously going to represent their own best interests and fill their pockets. I think that it should be illegal.
Teachers, they should get a raise. They do too many jobs at once. Teachers take care of children. Popcorn. I love it. Levi and Kai. Teachers work about 7 months a year. No, that is not true, Rolando. And I'm very conservative. And I don't go out here and try to pick little easy questions. But my teachers do not work 7 months out of the year. I take into consideration, bros, that my teachers out there, they work more than 8 hours a day. I mean, some of them come into work on Saturdays, guys, and Sundays, and take our students to major events where they're out there 24 hours a day. So no, I mean, I hate that remark that teachers only work 7 months out of the year or even 10 months out of the year. I don't see it. Our teachers are overworked and underpaid.
Sarah, you had previously mentioned how South Texas, our area in particular, is one of the poorest and uninsured. What can you guarantee the voters that you would do to do everything possible to get us insured?
Yeah, so it's just a matter of expanding healthcare, right? But our leaders haven't done it. We got somebody that needs to go to Austin and fight the Republican Party, no offense, and get those bills passed. But when we have a state senator that's rolling over at each time someone tells them no, then we're never going to get anything done. But yeah, we just need a bill that expands healthcare. That's it.
Is it because the business owners don't want to pay their employees? The adult daycares here pay their employees $10 an hour and take care of your elderly parents. They are charging the Medicare and Medicaid thousands of dollars a day, and yet only pay employees $10. Yeah, it is. It's embarrassing, but there's no oversight. Nobody goes out there and holds these individuals accountable. But and there's that very thin line in regards to capitalism, Rodney. I mean, what do you do? Because if you have a business. And again, I'm not for either one of them. I want people to get paid decent amount. But let's say you have a business, adult daycare center out there. Hey, man, and you're getting, I think it's like $100, $300 per guy per day. And I'm giving an amount. Let's say you get $300 per viejito a day. If you can hire someone that is willing to work for you for $10, are you going to hire someone that's going to work for you for $10, or you're going to pay them $20, $25, $30 a day, an hour? You're going to hire the one that's $10 an hour. But again, I think there's a lot to be done in regards at the state level in regards to making sure that these individuals are actually being cared for. Either that or more regulation. But who wants more regulation on small business? It's a catch-22. You're screwed either way. expand Medicare in Texas or no? What do you think of Trump trying to invalidate the Affordable Care Act?
Yes, expand. I think Trump trying to invalidate the Affordable Care Act is irresponsible and wrong.
What's your stance on DACA and President Trump trying to get rid of it?
Yeah, look, as an attorney, I've met a ton of these dreamer kids, right? And they're smart, they're bright, they're brilliant, they have potential. So we need to help them, and we need to make things easier and really grow together as a country. I mean, U.S. was built upon immigrants, so why are we so much better now that we can't extend that to our immigrants that are trying to help things be better here in the United States. So
BIZ pay scale states a teacher working 30 years gets $68,000. That's an embarrassment, Laura. That's an embarrassment. And these board members, the superintendent, they should be ashamed of themselves. For anyone working over 30 years, giving 30 years of service to the district, it's embarrassing. It's uncalled for, especially when that piece of crap is making $400,000 a year and got his contracted extended by a year by this corrupt board, by all of them. And I know some people are saying, well, not me, Nerva, not little Eddie. They're all in it. It was all a little show that they did up there. What happened with Prestas? Will she run again for board? The answer is yes, she will run. She will run again for board. I can almost guarantee it. We haven't finalized that discussion, but if you're asking me, do I think she's going to run again? Yeah, she's going to run again. Against LNG and pushes the green energy crap. Not getting my vote.
I didn't think I would from his profile picture, anyways.
Millions are killed in the womb. That's abortion. I am in favor of LNG more business for clothing for sale. Oh, I buy my clothes at Goodwill and thrift store. You have our vote, Sarah. We need change. People love hypotheticals. Too many hypotheticals. How about free birth control, IUDs, pills, implants, patches? I don't think I've needed any recently. I might. Oh, for women.
Yeah. Yes, I think that we make women's healthcare more accessible, and that includes contraception. Yes.
Democrats wanted to legalize abortions until the last day of abortion. So don't give me that crap. Late term abortion.
That's not really how it works, Rolando. I would be happy to share some resources with you if you want to look at it a little bit better. But look, this is an agenda that's pushed by the very right wing to scare people. But no, they are not, taking babies and killing them. I've got 3 kids. I mean, I'm certainly, that is not what's happening here in the state of Texas.
And can you explain to the public that teacher pay is divided into 12 months so we can get a paycheck in the summer months? There's a lot of misconceptions that we get free paychecks in the summer. Yeah. Again, guys, the teacher's pay is divided by 12 months, so they get a paycheck every single month, even those months that supposedly they have off. But you know what, Mary, and this is something that really bothers me. Every time people come out with this little, well, they don't work 2 months, 3 months of the year. It irritates me to heck, and I won't say hell. It irritates me to heck because I have personally seen, I have walked through the classrooms, I have walked through campuses, I have walked through the schools, I have personally seen the hard work and dedication that our teachers do and the amazing programs that come into fruition at our campuses, at our schools. Again, when I say that BISD is a mess, I am not talking about our teachers. Teachers know that. Teachers know that I appreciate every single thing that our teachers do for our students. And you know why they know? They know because I personally walked my butt and thanked them personally. I didn't sit on the board on top of those high chairs up there and dictate what I didn't know about. I walked through the halls and I talked to the teachers, I talked to the custodians, I talked to the food service people. So anyone that comes out there and says, "Oh, well, teachers are getting free money," no, let me tell you, we don't pay our teachers enough. We don't. Not even close. This he's an idiot. Me? Why? What did I do? This lady still don't answer the question. Way to deflect. again, late-term abortion. I'm going to say that Sarah supports late-term abortion.
Listen, let me make it extremely clear since I don't want, and think that I'm deflecting. I think that a woman and a doctor make their decisions based off health, right? By having a politician decide what's a conversation between a doctor and a patient is wrong. I mean, I'm not a doctor. Senator Lucio isn't a doctor. So those conversations about a woman's health have to happen between a doctor and a patient.
Sarah states she is pro-choice and earlier said hey, Sergio, she has never been pro-life. However, when she announced in March 2019, her website said progressive, pro-life Democrat. Can she explain this inconsistency in her previous statements? Happy to send the screenshot over to her if necessary. That's nice.
Yeah. So look, when you look at the term pro-life, what pro-life includes is anti-death penalty and anti-euthanasia. So when my website went out, it was progressive, pro-life Democrat, and we did some readjusting. I'm extremely against the death penalty. So in that sense, I am pro-life because I'm against the death penalty. But the term pro-life is really sort of a misconception in itself, right? Because we're all pro-life. We all want people to live. We all want people to thrive. But I am not anti-choice.
But the term pro-life is generally associated with abortion. Yes.
Well, yeah, but you've got to, it is, but there's a misconception. You've got to look at it. I mean, it's much more in depth than you would think just off the surface.
Okay.
What's your stance on on guns? Are you in favor of limiting either ARs, or are you all in favor of having the citizens armed?
Yeah, look, there's a balance, right? We've got to make sure that there is regulation. We got to make sure that, people with mental health issues aren't getting guns, aren't dangerous. We got to make sure our citizens are safe. But I also understand that there is a Second Amendment right to bear arms, and that's never going away. And we need to be able to feel safe that if we have an issue, we can defend ourselves. But there certainly needs to be regulations. I mean, we've seen with the shootings all over the United States that there are issues there.
Because I like this. I like the comparison. I think it's a little bit apples and oranges, a little bit. But a cosmetologist has to have 2 years of education in the top 6 months. They need more education and training. They need more than a person that cuts hair. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what it is would qualify someone to enter the academy, but I think, as I've shared the applications, I think police officers have to have at least a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree. So I would say that they have a little bit of form of education, but I do understand what you're saying, Elizabeth. And I sort of agree. I think that officers should get a lot more training, a lot more knowledge in regards to the law, in regards to, different things. I mean, I've heard a lot of different, actually there's a video out there. And again, my life is social media. There's a video out there of a police, an attorney who gets stopped by a police officer. I think it was in California, and the guy's an Uber driver. And the police officer was trying to dictate law to the attorney. And the attorney goes, "No, sir. When is that a law?" He goes, "Well, it's a law." And we're like, "No, sir. I'm an attorney." And it was kind of funny. Sarah, you want to get hit at Elizabeth's statement?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you make a great point that training is obviously an issue, and I think that if we can beef up some of the training and and make sure that everyone's on the same page, and we can limit some of these incidents that are happening across the country.
So what is your take on the difference between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter? I mean, again, I'll go back to my question in regards to our African American population here in the city of Brownsville is very, very, very limited. And again, I tout, and I'm very proud that I have 98 to 99% of the African American vote every time I run, and I'm very proud of that. But here, a lot of individuals, haven't had that much contact with the African American community. What is your take in regards to the difference between BLM and ALM?
Yeah, look, the best way that I've seen it described, kind of float around on social media, but I really liked the way that it was described is this. Look, In the scripture, Jesus has 100 sheep, 99 sheep are okay, one is missing, and then he goes with the one, and then 99 say, well, what about us? And Jesus says, look, it's this one whose life is in danger, so that's the one we focus on. That's really what the Black Lives Movement is, right? Their lives are in danger right this moment, so that's what we nurture. I think all lives matter and negates that idea, and I'm with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Sylvia, give us back our money so we can give teachers a raise. Castillo was tights from like 6 years ago. Shout out to Tony. Not sure what that means. Go Blue Pro Life. Our community loves our law enforcement. What we need is more funding, raises for our law enforcement so that we can receive proper training. Let me tell you, Maribel, that is one of the things that I have been fighting for, Maribel, for years. But you know what? Our police officers, a lot of times, they shoot themselves in the foot. Hopefully not literally, but they shoot themselves in the foot because they get individuals to represent them on these unions and these associations that don't truly represent our police officers. That is part of the problem. When you have individuals in unions representing the law enforcement officers that become more apolitical than anything else, that's part of the problem. Because I was fighting for, when I ran for city commissioner, I was fighting for raising their health insurance. Their health insurance back then, probably still is horrible, horrible, and they do deserve raises, and they deserve training. They deserve more resources. Sarah, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. No, I disagree, Maribel, respectfully. I don't think that's the answer. I think that it's going to take more community and citizen involvement to really make sure that the balance is more aligned.
Sarah, we have seen how states like California have have brought marijuana. How Vegas has gambling. What's your stance on casinos down in the area? Would that be something that you would advocate for in our area?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I don't have a problem with casinos. I mean, if the constituents down here think it's a good idea and want it, and it brings us revenue and tourism, then I think that would be fun.
It's not right for people to cause. What is your take on the riots and the looting that was going on throughout the country?
Yeah, I mean, clearly it upsets a lot of people, and it caused a lot of damage. You know, but this is a class of people that have been oppressed for many, many years. So I understand the frustration. I mean, at least I can try to understand the frustration. If you're screaming into the wind and nobody's listening to you, unfortunately, people start acting in other ways, and I think that's what happened. Just people were screaming and nobody was listening, and people were dying.
What about the white looters?
I mean, I don't even really know what to think of that. I think that they took advantage of a situation that was clearly I think it was a very poor decision.
It's not a question of law enforcement. You could do that and still support racial equality and professionalism in police. I agree with that. Too much makeup. Guys, I only did a little bit. Where did I go wrong? Yeah, looting is wrong. Yeah, it's not too good. Saca la botitas! I actually, I love, and again, thank you to my friends at bottom. I love them, love them, love them. We're almost done here. La Cabo Pot and La Pamela, tú tienes la culpa. Yeah, we are not the poorest country. No, we're the poorest city. We're the richest country. Teachers take it upon themselves and stand up for rights. Don't depend on teacher unions and associations. And Gloria, 100%. And let me tell you, if the stupid unions go out there and continue to kiss the butt of the board members and ask you to vote for them, you better change associations lickety. She is changing her narrative as she speaks. In regards to which question? Nambes, seniority only matters when they're consistently helping our community. On a national level, yes, the system needs work. On a local level, law enforcement is not a problem. We back the blue. That was my take. Our blue are amazing here. I actually love our law enforcement. That's one of the things. I mean, my heart goes out to a lot of the law enforcement agencies throughout the country that are suffering because of something that they absolutely positively did not do, and did not support, did not encourage. Our local law enforcement, for the most part, has been great down here. When I had my DWI, I shared that there was one police officer out there. She was horrible. She was horrible. And she was very rude to the individuals that stopped to help. I mean, I have it on video and I plan to bring it up later on. It was just very, very rude, very uncalled for. But I don't blame all the Brownsville Police Department just because of her stupid attitude. I don't. Maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe she was just not doing well. And hopefully one of these days I'll run into her and we'll have that conversation. She was very, very rude. And again, and it's not because I don't want her to be rude to Erasmo Castro. I don't want her to be rude to anyone. Anyone. Very unprofessional, very gross, really very, very horrible conduct. And and I haven't filed a complaint. I haven't gone out there and made a big old fuss about it because I want to give the officer a benefit of the doubt. But the majority of our officers here in Brownsville, great officers, good guys. And I wanted to know that we're there for. We need change. We need change. Black Lives Matter, get informed. For too long, Black Lives Matter has not mattered. Nobody said anything that you are assuming. Yes, all lives matter. Well, we'll agree to disagree. Unos saludos para Elvis. She just said we are the poorest country. Did you say we're the poorest country?
I don't think so. If I did, it was in the
Counties.
statement.
Yeah, we might be one of the poorest counties. We're the poorest area, that's for sure. Is this the BISD bank? It's not the Idea Bank. Yes, ridiculous. I'm done with Lucio. Huge fan. Thank you, Ricardo. I'm a huge fan of yours. Oh, Queen Beatrix did a great job. Go to sleep. I'm trying, Danny. Stop asking questions. Es una buena persona. Gracias. Way of tolerance and acceptance. I tolerate everyone. I tolerate Ryan Santana. What more could you want? Well, there's that many. Texas Lottery makes sales going. Isn't some of that used for teachers? If not, it should. It is not enough. Not enough. Because new things are not always correct. You're right, Mariana. Not everything you is correct. Not scared. I just don't agree. That's fine. We all don't have to agree on everything. And again, we're good. I just don't like. I mean, don't call people on here. Oh, you're crazy. You're stupid. That's my job. No, now she's calling closed-minded.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, it's Pride Month. I don't want to hear about LGBT people being discriminated. My relative is part of that community, and I adore her. Well, let me tell you guys, I don't think there's anyone that's more pro-LGBT in this whole city. I personally have been very, very supportive. I've been to the events. I've tried to be out there, and I still get disrespected by a lot of people. But it's okay. So can a Christian white male read the Bible to kids in the library? No, that's horrible. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because our city commission is leaning towards a different direction. So again, Ronnie, and this is just my opinion. It's not Sarah's. Guys, it was a big mistake to remove the rock. In my opinion, huge mistake. Now you give them an inch and they're going to want to take a mile. And now they're going to come after our churches. And people may say it's not going to happen. It's already happening throughout the country. I don't like people coming after my churches. When is school going to start? August 11th. And we can't be hippies. Abe, I think you're halfway there already. Don't worry, bigotry. As Elias been bad. I don't know that. Guys, Sarah, any last words for everyone?
Thank you guys for having me. I mean, you guys asked some hard questions tonight, but I will always answer them.
It's also the right to disagree will be banned. No, from where? I like people that disagree with me. I mean, look, I took Claudia's question, which I don't know if I have her blocked or she has me blocked. But again, to anyone that knows Claudia, if you want to be unblocked, please let me know. I'll unblock you. I don't mind the questions. I just don't like people to be rude to me. Be nice to me because I deserve people to be nice to me because I'm handsome and totally not fat. Frankie, last word.
Special shout out to Amanda Michelle Valero. coming from your friends and family. Thank you guys for watching. Monday, we start early voting. Once again, we want to thank Sara Stapleton Barrera for taking out the time to answer these tough questions. It's not easy coming out here. Our viewers are pretty rough sometimes, but this says a lot about her. She's willing to stick her neck out here. This is a very important position. So thank you so much, Sara. And I want to ask you.
Thank you, guys.
I want to ask you, Sara, why should the citizens of Cameron County vote for you? Why do we need a change come election day?
Yeah, look, I promise you I will never take a consultant fee. I will never take underhanded deals. I will be open. I will be transparent. I will tell you what I feel, even if you don't like it. And I will always be willing to have a conversation with you, regardless if we agree or not. And I think that that's what we need.
Okay. Thank you, guys. The Bible is literature. It's okay. So kids that don't go to Sunday school, yes, it's good. Guys, Swah, Rudy, miss you. Guys, have a great rest of the evening. Thank you so much, Sara. Sara is a friend. Will always be a friend. We all always don't agree on a lot of the things, but hey, doesn't mean we stop being friends. And again, I'm going to say this much. At least she came out here and answered questions. Senator Lucio did not respond in any way, shape, or form to our request. So that says a lot, guys. Really. Sara, good luck on your race campaign. It starts on Monday. We will be placing the voting places out there for individuals. Again, guys, reach out to the candidates and make sure that you're voting for them for the right reasons and not voting for them because they've been there for a long while because they gave you a chicken plate. Chicken plates don't last but 15 minutes, or if you're Frankie, 3 minutes. So, and we have to put up with individuals for years and years and years and years. Guys, stay safe. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with State District Judge
Candidate
Helen